And he was the one who was telling you these words. Wewe ndio unajifanya
unajua kusoma. Tutakufanya ukae kama sister yetu. You know, he was the only one I could recognize.
Hello guys, and thank you for tuning in to Night In with Joy. I'm your host Joy Irungu. Station is TV 47, and today we have an amazing guest, Pauline. And guys, let me just ask you, how loyal are you as a friend? If I'm to trust you with my everything, if I am to call you my friend, are you going to take care of me? Are you going to really hold that name of friend dearly? Well, let's first of all hear from Pauline. Sasa mrembo.
Poa sana.
Uko fiti?
Niko poa.
So kindly tell us, Pauline ni nani, what you do. You just talk about yourself. Tell us who you really are.
I feel like in interview UN. Tell us who you are. But my name is Pauline Juma. I am 26. Yeah. A mother to two amazing boys. Aww. And I am the director and the founder of Rebirth of a Queen. Nice. Yeah, an organization that is dedicated to teenagers, creating awareness on gender-based violence affecting teenagers in the slums and in the rural areas, and just to remind them that you can live beyond your trauma.
Yes, you can.
Yeah. And I love writing, poetry to be specific.
Nice.
Yeah, and I'm just a go-getter.
Oh,
yeah.
That is nice. So now tell me, definitely, by the time you were starting your organization, there's something that led you to that. Ni lazima. Nusemanga kitu moja, pain and purpose zinakuanga connected somehow, you know.
Yeah.
There's some things we go through and they lead us to our purpose. And they kwangi mbali sana na kenye tumepitia. No, for really. So tell me how you said, okay, sawa basi, you know what, this is it, I'm going to start this organization. I am going to help people. Why did you start it, and where did the story come from that?
Oh, Rebirth of a Queen is a story of Pauline. It started by a story of Pauline. And I was born and raised in Kibera slums, Nairobi, specifically in a village called Mashimoni. And one thing I tell myself wherever I go, Kibera taught me to be resilient, as much as sometimes it's resilience in a bad way, because, you know, you had to survive as a girl, as a firstborn. I had to survive and start taking care of my siblings when we were young. For us, education, food was a blessing, something that ukipata chakula kwa table, you're like, God, thank you. Because you would go even for a whole day, for 2 days. But one thing my mom taught us is never lose hope, especially in your God. That is what our mom taught us. And in the slums as a girl, you know, my mom keeps telling me stories that at the age of 3, already people in the society already named me a rebel. Aka katoto katasumbua, mnaona venye kako na maringo. Yeah, so that is what people used to say while I was just a little kid. And growing up in the slums, my life was just normal, a normal girl. You're used to the slums, you're used to whatever you see, and that is your world. You're used to that. And as a teenager, at the age of 13, I had a neighbor that I really loved. I loved that woman because for me, she looked beautiful. She had daughters who were so beautiful, and she was doing her business. She was selling samosas, and you know, this woman, even the way she used to present herself, even while selling, I don't know, there's something in her that just inspired me. And at the age of 13, this woman died, and she just never died a normal death. She was beaten by her husband to death. And you know, from the age of 13, I was always questioning everything. Mom, kwani lazima mwanamke apigwe? Why didn't she even go to report? So at 13, I was always against violence, against even a man or a woman. And my life was just normal. I was lucky I got scholarship to go to school. And I went to high school away from Kibera. And you know, I think my high school life was the best because I went outside Kibera and I was like, oh, So we have tall buildings out here. So we have women driving cars out here. And, you know, at 13, by the time I was going to high school, I really wanted to be a journalist. I wanted to be a journalist. And one thing at the back of my mind, I used to tell my mom, when I grow up, I'll open a children's home. And, you know, I'm telling her, I told her at the age of 9. And my mom named me a candle at the age of 9. And she told me, you're going to light the world. But because I loved being kind from the time I was little and until this time. I loved helping. I hated the fact that in my society, Mashimoni, no one went through Form 4. Yani kufika Form 4 ilikuwa nikaa, sijui, it was like a miracle. And I was so determined that mimi nitangangana nifike Form 4. But you know, you're still living in a society yenye wamekwambia, kalimaliza class 8. Ngoja tuone atafika wapi. But I was there in high school striving. We're still in Kibera. When you come back home, the reality hits you. Bado ni demo ghetto. Yo babi umepeleka shule. This is your reality. And I had a best friend. For me, she was a best friend. And I don't know what I would describe her, because mimi kwangu, she was a best friend. She came to our plot at that time, and I was in Form 2, going to Form 3, and she was in Form 1. And I won't say unfortunately, but she got pregnant. And when she got pregnant, the mom wanted to chase her. And for me, from the time I was little, I used to believe pregnancy should not be a limitation for you to go to another step of your life. So I will definitely tell her every single day, ukimaliza, ukipata mtoto, you'll have to go back to school. And we talked to the mother, nikambia the mother, don't chase her. I sent my mom, don't chase her. We'll do our best to support her. I am a Form 2 girl, doing my best to support someone who has a child. And anytime I used to go to school for that 1 year, I used to leave my friend, my shopping, I could divide it into 2. Give to my friend. Mi nikienda shule, I make sure she has 4 tissues, she has the sanitary towels, she has mafuta, everything, just little things. I would rather go to school niumie, but just to make sure my friend akibaki nyumbani, she won't lack anything, ibidi aitishe the mother, then ikuwe a lot of issues. And that is what I did for 1 year. This is my friend. This is my sister. As a firstborn, I always wanted that age mate mwenye ningeambia secrets. Who mwenye ungeambia, you know, this is what I'm going through. I've gotten this boyfriend. And that is what we used to do. And 1 year later, 2011, October, I was in Form 3, going to Form 4. And I'm here for the last 1 year. Nimekuwa nikiambia my friend, please go to school. Please go to school. And when we tulikuwa tukikuja holiday, we go to the brother. I didn't have a brother. My brother was little, so for me his brother was that big brother mwenye ningechokoza mtu kwa mtaa, and may I have a big brother, nitamuita, you know. And we used to go to the big brother, wash clothes. At that time, the brother used to live in Langata. Langata haikuwa na barabara at that time. So it was bushy, miwa, kuna watu wanafuga nguruwe, and he used to live mahali, just in the middle of Langata. And that is what we used to do. Tunaenda kwake, we helped the brother wash clothes, go back home. That was normal for us. The brother alikuwa anajulikana kwetu like a big brother. You know, my father raising girls, he never trusted any man with us. He was like, no, watoto wangu lazima wasome. But for him, he won my father's heart. I don't even know how. And this day, in 2011, October, I'm almost going back to school, and my friend tells me, Pauline, please, let's go help my brother wash his clothes, and then I will take you to school. That was normal. I didn't even feel this is wrong. That was very normal. It was around 7. So we were going to wash clothes, saa 3 turudi, I shower, nipande gari, niende shule. That is what we did. On the road, it was almost 5 kilometers from our home. Si tunapiga story normal. We are okay, very okay. And tunafika hivi kwa brother yake, and what I remember until this day, I was pushed. I will never tell if it was my friend, because it took me long to accept that ilikuwa my friend, ndo alini push. And the moment nilipushiwa kwa hiyo nyumba, I was slapped. And the next words, wewe ndo unajifanya unajua kusoma, tutakufanya ukue kama sister yangu. wewe ndio unajifanya unajua kusoma. You know, I looked at my friend zile za, but you're my big brother. And the next thing niliambiwa, you know, you'll have to cooperate. Everything tunasema.
Hold on there. Guys, let us take a short break, and by the time we're coming back, we will hear more from Pauline. Please don't change the dial.
Entrepreneurs around the country are creatively grinding.
I started with a borrowed phone.
A borrowed phone.
Yeah, that could last 2 hours with charge.
We just have to do quality work for them.
To make their mark in an unpredictable market.
It was now going on a sales venture, looking for stockists door to door.
On the grind, we bring you their stories so you can tell yours. Every Monday at 7:30 p.m. Men are known to be the pillars.
We're rising up together.
Say your point. You need an alpha male now to come and help you and your girl.
Ameongea zero.
And women, they are the cornerstone that hold the pillars.
Don't be entitled. A man is peaceful, a man knows how to talk to a lady.
This November, the Men's Conference brings a cocktail of diverse ladies to weigh in on various matters.
Something I'd love more to see is men being able to exist as themselves.
Tune in every Wednesday at 10 p.m.
Hello guys, and welcome to Night In with Joy Irungu. Joy Irungu.
Heartbreak, pain, and tears have been a major part of Night In.
Thank you for staying tuned and Night In with Joy Irungu. Remember, I'm your host, Joy Irungu. Our social medias ni zile. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram is Joy Irungu or Ladies CLC, or you can also talk to us on TV47 social media handles. And Pauline, sasa sahi, kuna mtu amekupush in the house of someone you call your brother. You've regarded as your brother. And then?
You know, the first thing nilishtuka. I looked at him. Ile unamwambia, but you're my big brother.
And he was the one who was telling you these words. Wewe ndio unajifanya
unajua kusoma. Tutakufanya ukae kama sister yetu. You know, he was the only one I could recognize. He was the only one I knew. These other three men ni watu sijui. They look weird. They look weird. They look like terrorists. That's how I would describe them until today. If someone tells me to draw them in my dream, I will draw someone mwenye mandevu, you know. They just looked scary. And one of them slapped me akaniambia, you'll have to cooperate. And you know, I watched my big brother defiling me at 16 with someone holding a knife for a mistake ya kusoma. Because that is what sometimes you try console yourself. Nilifanya. I used to try and console myself, give myself reasons why I should live past the trauma. Nilifanya nini? The mistake was kusoma. The mistake was being too kind to someone. And, after all that, they had to make sure kuna evidence itawachwa. And the brother told me, if you dare speak, we're going to kill your mom. You know, Mimi, at 16, I was daddy's girl. I loved my dad. Me and my dad were this. But losing my mom at 16 made me silent for 7 good years. I was silent, protecting my mother, protecting my whole family. And the moment walinitoa hapo, they made sure nimetoka hapo like someone who had cooperated with everything really happened. Nikatoka hapo, I went to the doctor. Our hospital called Wanga by that time.
He was the only person who defiled you.
Yeah. I was defiled by 2 men and the others beating me up. So there were 4 men in that room. Because
and where is your friend right now? Your friend has
My friend was nowhere. The moment I was pushed, nikafungua mdomo trying to call her name, because for me at that time she was the only rescue I thought I had. I was trying to call her name, nikafungwa. I'm being beaten. You know, someone is telling you all this while wendo unajifanya unajua kusoma, hakuna mali utaenda. All these words I listened, and you know, I'm crying and asking myself, so mistake yangu ni kusoma, mistake yangu ni kusaidia sister yako. And you know, you can't tell him, you can't even speak at that moment. And after all these acts, wanakutoa like nothing has happened. And at 16, I don't think there's pain kwa maisha yangu nishaisikia kama hiyo. Yes, I have 2 kids, but I can't even compare it to labor pain. Because the pain nilitoka nayo pale, and you're trying to fake it, unatembea kwa mtaa, you should be normal, you walk straight, because if anyone knows, aende ambie mama yako, then mama yako akushuku akuulize, and you know very well your mother is going to file charges, she is getting killed. And with all my pain at 16, nilienda hospitali, and I told the doctor what had happened, and I told the doctor, mimi niandikie tu everything. I will go report myself. And I carried all my stuff na madawa zangu. And the funniest thing I did, I went to school. I traveled all the way from Kibera to Muranga on that day. Because mamangu angekuja nyumbani anipate na nafaa kurudi shule, it was midterm, she could suspect. My father at that time was not around. My father is a trailer driver. He was not around. Now life started when I was in school. Because me in school day 1, I thought I was okay. Nilikuwa najiambia, Pauline, mama alikufunza kuwa strong. This is now time. Just be strong. Be strong. That night, I think ilikuwa the beginning of my terror nights for the longest time in my life. You know, you're sleeping, but unasikia ile sauti. You're far away from home, so unaogopa this man, kama amekufanya hivi, atafanyia nini mama yako? So me, number 1, I was depressed in school. I wrote a lot. That is when I started writing poetry, because that was the only hope I had. That was the only reason I had to live. I only had a book and a pen. That was my power at that moment. I used to write poetry. I could write in that book every feeling that I had, just to make sure it's going. Just to make sure the next day I wake up, I won't feel this pain, because it was beyond physical. From that day, I stopped being the journalist. Nilijiambia wacha maisha ikae venye nakaa. Because maybe this is what I deserve. Maybe I will never get out of Kibera. Maybe I will never help my mother. Those were the things nilikuwa najiambia nikiwa 16. My dreams shattered in a day. I was like, no, I'm not living beyond this. I tried to commit suicide mara 3 shule. Because for me, I felt like, why should I live number 1? Let me die na nisiambie mtu why I'm dying, so that my mom won't carry all this burden. And in those 3 attempts, I think I had 2 friends realized ni nini mbaya na Pauline. Because the Pauline walikuwa na Joes, this Pauline was very vibrant. Pauline mwenye angekosa any function in school. Huyu Pauline mwenye, I was a Red Cross member, she was always ready. Mtu akifanyika anything, she's there. But now all of a sudden we have a Pauline who's quiet, who anaingia class, anakaa kwa kona na anachukua kitabu na anaandika. Hata mwalimu akiingia class. And the worst ilikuwa, if a male teacher enters in class, ningeangalia chini for 40 minutes. 40 good minutes nimeangalia chini. I don't want to look at him. I don't want him to notice anything, because for me I was like, if anyone looked at me straight kwa macho, angerealize what I'm going through. But at the end of it all, after 1 month, I had to be taken out of school. Niende nitibiwe. That is what the deputy ali conclude. Nafaa kuenda kutibiwa. Because they felt I'm sick and I'm not telling anyone anything. So they called my dad and the director mwenye alikuwa amenisponsor. That day wakikuja, wakaniuliza, Pauline, ni nini mbaya? Niliwaambia tu, I'm not okay. I need to go to the hospital. And I took all the papers. Nikapea babangu. Nikamwambia, Dad, this is what is wrong with me. But mbele ya huyu director, I want you to swear with your life, Mom hata waijua nini na nifanyikia. hata waijua. Akijua dad, nita make sure the 4th attempt, mimi naenda. I will make it so perfect, niende. So nikeka my dad in my own box. My dad akani convince we need to report, and we went to Kilimani. We report hizo vitu zote. So I told my dad, you just report, and then me I want to go back home, I rest. I went back home, I found this girl. You know, I looked at her and the only question nilipata nguvu ya kumuuliza why, and she laughed. Aliniangalia, akacheka kwanza. Akacheka vizuri tena sana. And we started fighting. Like for a whole month, the whole year we used to fight. But mamangu angerealize, mbona wasichana wawili wanapigana? These were 2 best friends. Why are they fighting? Mbona ni nini mbaya? And ikafika mahali she went. She just disappeared from the plot, from Kibera. Akaenda tu. And for me, I think life timed when I was 16. Because I was so attracted to boys. And not just boys. I never just used to sit around boys or men. I used to sit around the bad men in the society. Those that you call bad men. So by that time, for me, bad men were protecting me. And that is the life nilijiweka ndani. After nilitolewa shule, and now I had to look for another school. And that another school, inabidi nirudi, Form 3. I just loved the company of being around bad men and the society labeling me a rebel, you know. Tulijua tu hakuna mali kataenda. But you know, the society is not even keen enough to understand ni nini msichana anapitia. And that's how nilijilea mimi mwenyewe. I'm trying to hide this pain from my mother. I'm trying to hide this pain from the perpetrators you meet every single day. Na kila siku ukikutana nao, they show you this, we are going to kill you.
So you used to meet with them? I
used to meet with them now. Now, whenever they realized niko around, unakutana nao. Like, you know, Kibera has a lot of corners. Unaenda mahali, unakutana nao from nowhere. And the only sign wanakuonyesha, will kill you if you dare speak. Will kill you if you dare speak. And that's how I lived. I went to high school, nikamaliza, with so much bitterness. After high school, you know that time period ya kutoka high school, hiyo sijui from November to around March results zikuje. That period, my mom keeps laughing at me and ananiambia wewe results zako zilikuja ukiwa na another degree. Because by the time nilikuwa nachukua results, I was pregnant. And mimi nilikaa chini nikajiambia, maybe this man destroyed me. Let me go get pregnant. Let me just go stay with the man. At least for me, that man atakuwa security. But I think it turned out to be different. Because the moment I was in this relationship, the first month was okay, the second month was okay, everything was okay. Until the day alianza kunichapa. And this was the first person nilimwambia story. Like, this is what happened to me. And if you see me nikibehave weirdly around these people, I am afraid of them. And anytime this person wants to victimize you, he used to tell me, hata hiyo ndo reason ulirepiwa. Haunanga adabu pia wewe. For 2 years, I think from the time I was 19, by the time I was like, no. I used to be beaten. Nilikuwa natukanwa. Ikafika mahali when I had now my firstborn, when I was pregnant, ikafika mahali he pressed my stomach until nikaona damu. Nikajibeba hivyo nikajipeleka kwa mamangu. And you know, my mother looks at me and knows this girl is not okay. But you know what I told my mother that day? Mi niko sawa, nilianguka kwa stairs. My mother aliniangalia akasmile akaniambia, he called me with my second name, Akinyi. Ukichoka kuanguka kwa stairs, I am your mother. Come back home. But singekaa home. Because for me, I'm in a journey of trying to make sure my society understands I can do it all. You know, you're fighting everyone around you. You're fighting the people walisema you can't do it. But one day, I think saa 7 usiku, bitterness ilini grow. And he came home drunk. And he slapped me. And because we used to live in a tunajitanga self-confused room where the kitchen kila kitu iko kwa nyumba niko the same house, the next thing I saw was a knife. And I took the knife. And the moment I want to stab this man, my son cried. My son kulia, nilitupa kisu chini, and I took my son and I called him Leslie. This is the last time you'll ever see your mother crying because anapigwa. Ni saa 7 natoka kwetu, actually it was almost 1 kilometer. Naenda narudi kwa mamangu usiku, sa hizo blankets kila kitu imemwagiwa maji because it was a very bad fight. But that day I looked at this man nikamwambia, I think you're the last man ever to ever underestimate who I am. And I went. Nikatoka nikarudi kwa mama and I was like, Mom, I'm tired. And the only thing Mom told me, you're my child. Na nilikwambia kutoka kitambo, you're the light. My life went back to normal. I'm 21. I have a kid. You know, umeenda, it's like umefail according to the society. And during that process, ninafanya kazi because for me at that time ilikuwa my mother and my son and my siblings wakuwe sawa. And in that process, this man one day abused me. You're a dead flower. Unajua, until I think last year, that is when I started appreciating flowers. Because for me, I was like, anytime I look at a flower, I remember, Pauline, you're a dead flower. And that is how I lived. That matusi ilifanya, I entered into another relationship like pap, and I got my second born son. And after getting my second born son, that is where I always say my rebirth started. Because I was like, no, this is not the kind of life I need to live. I took my second born son, separated from the second relationship, and I told my mom, I'm ready to live a life yenye nilikuwa purposed for. I don't know what kind of life it is, but I'm ready to go back to that life.
And now you rebirth the organization.
Yes.
Yeah. So before we wind up, you can just tell our viewers how they can reach you if they need assistance on the Rebirthed Queens, and also just a word of encouragement.
A word of encouragement that I tell to everyone: you're beautiful, you're amazing, you're confident, you can do all things as long as you set your mind to do it. And Rebirth of a Queen, we are on our social media pages. It's Twitter Rebirth of a Queen, Facebook Rebirth of a Queen, and Instagram Rebirth of a Queen. And the services we offer shelter to teenage girls and young mothers who are going through gender-based violence. And we are here to help, we are here to support, and together we can do better.
Oh, thank you very much, Pauline, for sharing your story. I love the way you are authentic, you are courageous, and you know what, you've gone through a lot and you're still strong. And I really appreciate you for what you're doing. If there's no one who's ever told you you're doing a good thing, then here is for me, you're doing a good thing. So karibu sana and continue helping people.
Thank you.
Sindio. Guys, thank you for tuning in to Night In with Joy. I'm your host, kama kawaida, Joy Rongo. Remember, the show is always on TV47 every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. You can reach us on our social media handles: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Joy Rongo or Lady CLC, or also TV47. And ladies, yes, you who's watching me and listening to me, whatever you're going through right now, be it somebody who's defiled you, or you're going through past childhood trauma, whatever it is you're going